Hi, do you remember that? The Henderson Kids. Well, if you don't remember it, this video may not mean very much to you at all, but I know there are many of you out there who will remember that. What you may not know is that this year, 2010, actually marks the 25th anniversary of the screening of the series The Henderson Kids. Although it's no longer being shown, of course, it was only consisted of a mini-series to begin with, but it was 25 years ago that it was first shown. And what's my interest in this? Well, my memories actually go back longer than 25 years because I was the writer at the time who created this show and wrote the opening episode and some of the other episodes too. How did that happen? If you've ever been wondering how did this show come to be, it was lucky for me as a writer, one of the rare occasions in the television industry when I was actually invited to write a show. And I was invited to write this show by Hector Crawford of Crawford Productions, and the reason was he wanted to make a children's television show. There were and still are regulations to do with children's TV shows. There's a children's programme committee, and shows that are deemed suitable for screening in children's time on television are given what is called the C certificate. And at the time, Hector Crawford had never won the C certificate. He'd made several programmes that he thought were suitable for children, but he always got rejected and they weren't to be screened in children's time. And he asked me if I could do it for him to get a show up with a C certificate. So I thought long and hard and came up with this idea. It actually was a long writing process from getting the concept right through to the scripting of probably 18 months to 2 years. And during that time I was given fabulous feedback by Hector Crawford, and then especially by the person who came to be the producer of the show, Alan Hardy, who advised me on all kinds of issues and helped me with storyline ideas, and somehow The Henderson Kids was born. It's been a great show for me personally because I put a lot of myself into it. A lot of the ideas and themes were things that I felt about and cared a lot about, so I was happy to see them go in. And I had a few requirements from Hector Crawford that had to go in. He wanted to show off Australia. He wanted to show people the beauty of the cities and the countryside and the coastline of Australia. He also had one slightly quirky requirement, but that was Hector, which was the show had to have at least one policeman in it. I think at Crawford Productions you simply weren't allowed to make a show that didn't have a policeman in it, so I was happy to put a policeman in. And one of the best things that Hector said when I showed him my first draft was, yes, I like it very much, but I want more kids. He said, you've written about 4 kids in there. He said, I want lots and lots. I said, really, I can do that? Yes, write lots of kids in this show. And so it became a true children's television show, and it did eventually win its C certificate. The great irony was that Channel 10, who bought the show and screened it, liked it so much that they didn't actually show it in children's time. They put it on in prime time for adults, and I'm happy to say it got a good following from the adults as well. The other things that made this show good, I think, was there's so many good people involved with it. The directors were great. At one stage, after I'd done all the initial writing work, 3 other writers were brought in to help write the episodes, and they were all terrific. Peter, John and Galia, thank you. They did a wonderful job on writing episodes as well. And finally, the key factor were the actors, and especially the kids. I have never seen such a talented and hard-working bunch of kids in a show in my life. They were just great. I guess the undisputed star of the show is Nadine Garner, who played Tam Henderson. Nadine's a most wonderful actress still, and in those days, although she was very young, she could do anything. She could act anything. She could show you any emotion. In one scene that I wrote in the first episode, there must have been 10 different strong emotions all in the same scene, and she moved from one to another so beautifully. Absolutely fabulous work, but the same could be said of just about all the kids in there. Some fabulous actors, Ben Mendelsohn of course, and Kylie Minogue, who had only had a couple of acting roles before that. and Kylie, as she always does, gave her everything for the part that she played. So the actors certainly made that show. It went on to be, as I say, a successful series. It won its ratings spot sometimes for the night or for the week. And in due course, a long time later, I think 2 years after the first series was made, there was a second series, the Henderson Kids 2, and again, a really exciting show. I wrote 2 of the episodes for that second series, and it was back in the city, out of the country, back in the city again with the Henderson Kids. Also Brains from the first series arrived back in the second series, and a little cameo role from the actor playing Trevor Cathcart, who was the nerd in the first series, and by the second series had grown up and was quite a handsome young guy and no longer so nerdish. But all in all, the second series had new characters, lots of drama, the same excitement and humour and fun. So a great show to work with. It represents a period of some 5 or 6 years in my life, the Henderson Kids, and that's, I guess, why I have so many memories, and they're happy memories too. If any of you have got any things you'd like to say to me about the show, I'd love to hear from you. And if you've got any questions you'd like to ask about the Henderson Kids, anything at all, I'll see what I can do. I'd certainly be happy to try and answer your questions. So thanks for sharing some memories with me today, and I'll catch up with you again. See you later. Goodbye.